Radio in motion program loading in 3, 2, 1. Program activated.
Attention everyone, the unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake.
Okay, first things first, what is your name?
This is Big Sonny playing the best of the 90s and beyond.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Radio in motion.
Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go.
All right, here we go.
Radio in motion.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining me tonight on Radio Emotion. We've got our 70s sound happening tonight, but thanks for joining me on this episode of The Ugly Truth. Like I always say, the truth can be ugly, but it can set you free. And the ugly truth is so many people and so many of the mainstream media still absolutely have Trump Derangement Syndrome, like an actual virus. And all I mean by that is the inability to just let go of things that are obviously factually not true in any way, shape, or form. And now it's just about opinion based. By the way, anyone can have an opinion. That's why I always enjoy, the simple merit of debate. That's why I enjoy these shows and having these talks. It is all about two people, multiple people, a town, a country, a company, people coming together and finding a way to have different opinions, but make it through to make the right choice on the other end. And I think for some, there's just an inability to just have a frank and rational conversation. So that's why I say, it is a derangement. It is irrational. The ship has sailed. It is too late. And the irrational things are still talking about this man who is now the president of the United States, elected by the people of the United States, that he is still tantamount to Hitler. That is, again, just one of the most hilarious things. It's also their fallback. By the way, when you're ever called racist or Hitler, if someone's calling you that, you've really triggered something, and they're mad because that's a fallback mechanism to just call someone that, even though there is no tangible, actual evidence or justification that you are, in fact, a Nazi. And also, I wanted to play this clip. I think this is hilarious. Again, remember, not like Hitler, actually Hitler, and now the president. So this was Trump on the presidential helicopter, Air Force Two, I believe. And he is giving a ride to a family and a couple of kids who were just so thrilled. And I'm just going to play you a bit of a clip of obviously Hitler, yeah?
Mr. Trump.
Yes.
Are you Batman?
I am Batman. Have you been on one of these? Not like this one.
Oh, come on. Have I been on these?
You've been on a lot. But not like this one.
This is my first time in a helicopter.
You've never been on a helicopter?
And the kid's recording it for, TikTok or YouTube.
They're going to love it.
Yeah.
You're not scared, right?
Brendan, are you back? Okay, Mr. Trump. Here we are on your helicopter.
Have fun, guys.
Here we are on your helicopter, ready to take the kids.
That's right. Oh, this is, I see. We are ready, and we're ready to take you, which is almost as important.
So look, I just wanted to play that. You can look it up yourself. But the kid asks him, Trump, are you Batman? Yes, I am. And that's the right answer. That's the right answer if you're the president. By the way, if Kamala Harris had won, whomever, if Biden had won again, this is what I want to talk about tonight. The president of the United States is a cult of personality. It is someone who has a responsibility to act a certain way and to be a certain symbol. And in America, it's not a king and a queen. It is a president. It is an elected president, elected by the people, and still a symbol. And my point is are you Batman? That's the right answer. Yes, I am Batman. Whether you love him or hate him, you can't stand him. He is charismatic. He is with it. He is not in cognitive decline like Joe Biden obviously was, and he is taking on the role as he should, and trying to give hope and be a symbol. And I'm going to be honest, I am someone who wasn't political. I still wouldn't call myself political. I'm just aware of what's happening in the world. I'm aware of the things that affect me. And if it happens to be politics that are affecting my day-to-day life, then I'm interested in it. And frankly, yeah, probably this was at the start of COVID. Since then, 4 or 5 years, I've been actively sourcing my news sources and media and facts from 50 different places. I don't just turn on CNN or Fox and go, yep, that's the news because they're telling it to me. The point is I make up my own mind, as I expect you to, and I make a decision. And on my well-informed opinion, honestly, not just by turning on the mainstream news and going, yep, that must be the truth, I can say in the past 4 years, Biden has I have never once seen a clip like that. And I'm sorry if you think, oh, well, so that's it. You just want the president to fly kids around in the helicopter. Yeah, that's enough. Shit, it is. Fact is, I never saw him do anything as genuine in that in 4 years. And Kamala Harris either. I'm sorry. There's nothing to do with her gender or the color of her skin. She's just a dud. She's a non-entity. She's a non-player. She is not a human personality. The fact is that Trump has a human side, and he shows that. And if someone says, oh, well, he just put on a show, damn right, as well he should, as Biden should have as well, should have put on a better show at least. You sucked at doing anything about the economy. You opened up the borders, causing stress on everyone in America of every color and creed and nationality who already live in America. You caused them stress. You scolded Americans. You told them how wrong and bad they were. You should have just been being a human. So I'm saying already on a human level, the former White House, all the staff and the presidency and totally lost. You already lost everyone. So already, like I say, just a clip like that, asking him, are you Batman? He knows the role he's playing, and he is playing it, and as he should. That is his job. And it goes beyond that. He's not just the persona. That's the thing. It would be one thing if he was just a persona, if he was just play acting, which, by the way, I think most people in politics are play acting. Do you think they went to school to get a degree in that? Half of them have just been doing it since they were young, and they were already elitist. I know you think someone like Joe Biden came up through the ranks, some poor boy from a trailer park. He is someone who has, in fact, used his power to become rich and has been doing it since he was young, and his whole family has benefited from that. And the point is, the annoyance is that he is someone who denies it. Okay, President Trump is someone who is a businessman and has made his fortune. He has made his riches and made no qualms about it. That is what he's good at, and why not? There's people who are good at that. That's what they do. There are billionaires in the world that have earned it. He has earned it. Therefore, he is not doing this to make money or fame. He is doing this because he saw a need for someone to stand up and be in that role. So for someone that says he's just putting on a show, he is. Sure, he's putting on the show of the president, as the president should. But here's the other thing. In his first week, just in a week, he has done more than Joe Biden did in 4 years, because everything that Sleepy Joe said, it's more complicated than you think. It's harder than you think. You can't just make these changes. You can't just make a decision. You can. Turns out you can. Trump has signed so many executive orders. Again, these are just executive orders, which means they will take hold while he's president. The real important part is to make sure they go through the proper channels and go through Congress, and then they become laws. And that's where all of you, the people, come into play. All these are right now is him trying to show you the way. And again, everything he has done, everything he's done is exactly what the people who voted for him asked for. Okay? Case in point, there's a clip going around of Selena Gomez. Always cracks me up. Anyone in Hollywood, the Hollywood bubble, who still, they have no rational, logical understanding of the actual earthly world we live in. They don't live in that world in the California bubble. They just don't. So she's on there crying, And of course, I understand, okay, she has Hispanic and Italian background. So she's crying for all, all the children that he is deporting because again, Trump bad, Trump evil. So he is just going and he's grabbing kids and he's just throwing them across the border. Okay, this is what drives me crazy. This is part of the Trump Derangement Syndrome. Everyone who voted for him, including a majority of African American and Hispanic voters who are Americans, or maybe their relatives came over the border the correct way, the naturalized way, and they became citizens, and now they are American citizens, and that's all America is. Like I said this before, America is a melting pot. Of course, it was built on immigrants, and it still is to this day. Bring us your tired, you're wretched, you're poor. I still believe in that, as all Americans do. We are not talking about kicking out people who come from other countries. Other countries built America from all around the world, whether you were Irish or German back in the day, and Greek and Italian, and then now whether you're from Africa, or you're Iraq, Iran, you're from anywhere in the country, the UK, it doesn't matter where you're from, South America. It's all about your dream and their dream. And again, you talk to an actual, like someone from Cuba, talk to them about what they actually understand is a fascist country. All right, it's not America. It's not the way America runs itself with Trump. They have seen real tyrants in their time. So this is not about kicking out immigrants, about anybody who is legitimately in America and working hard and wanting to be part of the American dream, which is what you can do. You can start from nothing, and that's what's beautiful. Why do I say that? Because again, everyone in this Hollywood bubble, including Selena Gomez crying about all the children, this is about getting rid of over 18 million illegal, and yes, maybe some of them are, many of them have been families. Many of them have been children, by the way, and it is sad. And it is not that America doesn't want to help them. It's about, it doesn't work like that. You can't just, I currently live in Australia. I didn't just show up on a boat. Everyone has to go through the proper channels, and you need to do what is right for you so they can decide if they want you to be part of their country. And there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. And no, I'm not talking about Native Americans or indigenous, but I am talking about we live in a world where people from all over the world migrate to other countries, and this is the world we live in now. This is about at least having a monicum of understanding of someone's background before they come into the country. And no, not everyone who comes there is seeking asylum or refugee. And many people are, and absolutely you should help those people. Anyone who's seeking asylum, you should help them. But frankly, so many of the people who crossed the border were actually just single men of military age who weren't fleeing any country because they were being persecuted. They were just fleeing America. They were going to America because they wanted to live a prosperous dream. As I understand, everyone would. Isn't that funny? The other thing too, when Hollywood talk about, you're kicking them back to their country. So you don't want us to acknowledge that where they came from is actually a bit of a shithole. And I mean that not about the people, about the government, okay? Nothing to do with the people of any country, but it is about many governments in many countries, South America, and there are places where people are fleeing for a reason. People are leaving Mexico for a reason because the conditions are horrid and the government is corrupt and the people have no voice. And that is a sad part. But the problem is you can't just inject 18 million people in a country like any country, America, Australia, or the UK, that already has its own sort of, symbiotic balance between how many people are going to school and coming out of school and getting a job, and families that are already working hard for the next generation, for their children. I'm just saying there's a cycle here. And then, you move through the ranks, and then you're born in America and your parents worked hard, and you should, repay them for that in respect, in going to school and getting an education, getting your own job. My point is that's already happening in every country on its own for the people that are already there. So, and I'm sorry for the families, I'm sorry for the children. But you can't just inject them illegally into a town. And this is what's happening too. I'm talking real here, and people don't like that. They don't want to get down to the nitty-gritty. They just want the headline. Trump bad, wants to kick out a bunch of children across the border. It has nothing to do with that. Most of the towns that are hit are these border towns that are struggling themselves. They're not even surviving, and they're in America. They're in the most prosperous and richest country in the world, and they were born there. And they may be Hispanic or African American or white. It doesn't matter. The point is they're American, and they can't make it, and their kids are struggling. And then this town is injected with, yes, adult men and women and children, and the Biden administration did nothing to set up any sort of structure except just ignore it. The problem will go away. Well, it didn't go away because the people in America who work hard noticed it. They couldn't deal with everyone in this town. The towns bleed like anything else. Your household, you can only feed so many mouths. You've got kids to feed, and your neighborhood and your town and on and on. The town has only so much to be sustainable. Everything, isn't that the big buzzword, about trying to be, self-sustaining, to be sustainable? These towns can't be sustainable when you inject millions of people into them, or when people just scatter to the winds in America. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an illegal process, and that, yes, much of it included adult males, not always families, not someone fleeing persecution. And let me talk about the other thing, and this is a fact. These are about the facts. Even in the first week, the Trump administration has already tracked down over 300,000 of kids who are all from the illegal families crossing the border, who they said, they couldn't find them. It's too hard. Oh, we can't find them. We can't keep track of them. It's too hard. Well, they found them, and they're going to reunite them with the family. And I know Selena Gomez just goes, he wants to put the kid in a cage with the family and feed them dog food. No, he wants to reunite them with their family because through no fault of their own, I hope, sometimes this happens because they're crossing the border at night illegally. They've hired a coyote. They've hired someone who is a disgusting human being dealing in human trafficking. And if you are that naive that you don't believe this, I can't help you, because what I'm about to say, if you don't believe it, then I feel like I can't even move forward with the conversation. Fact is there are so many children who are human trafficking is one of the biggest commodities next to drugs. That's a fact. You look that up. That is a fact. There is drug trafficking and there's human trafficking, and it is mostly children. So the fact is that they're out there. That's how Hollywood wants to ignore it. Because Hollywood, look, I love movies. I'm a huge pop culture nerd and stuff, but I'm sorry. Your town has been built on exploiting children for the majority of like a half a century. You can't deny that. So of course they don't want you to look at that. They don't want you to focus in on child human trafficking. So the fact is already they have found over 300,000 kids who are supposedly lost, and they're going to reunite them with the family. And yes, you're going to go back to your country of origin on a flight, by the way, with a meal, because we're so evil, because Trump is such the devil. Even though, like I say, you were trafficked across the border in horrid conditions, paying all your money to some coyote who split up your family, took your kids, and probably trafficked them, or you've become a drug mule. So I can't fix how it happened, but how it's happening is not the way to go. Okay? There has to be a better way. Yes, America still wants you're tired and you're wretched and you're poor. It still needs to be built by people from all over. If you want the American dream, you should deserve to try for it. But this is not how it works, by letting kids and families just loose in the country to fend for themselves. Does that sound right to you? So first of all, that's setting the record straight on that is exactly why he was elected by the Hispanic community, a majority of it. So Selena Gomez doesn't even realize it's the people in her community and her cultural background who wanted him to do this very thing. And so that's what he's doing, He is doing what the will of the people and why he was voted in. And again, yeah, I will bring up something like Laken Riley, the young woman who was killed. And yes, she was killed by an adult male illegal alien. And you're like, oh, well, it could have been anyone. Yeah, but it was someone who shouldn't have been there. And you cannot argue that fact, okay? Yes, there are Americans who murder each other too, but I'm just saying this person's life, and there are so many others that have happened over the years here for people that we don't know who they are, and they weren't vetted in any way, shape, or form. They didn't come through any naturalization process. They just showed up in the country, obviously fleeing crimes from another country because no one was checking on them, no one was checking on their passport, and then continuing to continue to create crimes and murder people in America. So, fact, illegal alien wouldn't have been there if there wasn't such an easy way across the border. And Laken Riley and her future, and maybe her future children, who is an American and deserves the human right to live in America, to live free and not be murdered, her life has been taken away forever. So that's just one example of many of why people have just been fed up with it. So like I say, that's why I when I see these, I can't believe these clips are still out there. Why Hollywood is in such a bubble. It cracks me up. And then the Elon Musk thing, I'll just mention that quickly. Cracks me up. Again, right back to the Nazi thing. All right, Elon, look, it's ill-advised. Okay, there's an angle, all right? Acceptable, not acceptable. Just, what can I say? Hitler ruined that move for eternity. He ruined that move for everyone for eternity. Don't do it, okay? Yes, I get it. He was trying to say, from my heart to yours. I just accidentally did it there. I guess I'm a Nazi, From my heart, shout out. And of course, the minute that they can grab onto anything, and if it's tantamount to Hitler, boom, that's a headline. So that's it. Elon Musk is a Nazi. I'm like, oh my God. Look, you're in the public eye. He should know better. Anyone who's in the public eye and in the limelight, you've got to watch your every move. And it is scary, but that's the life. Sorry. That's an unfortunate side effect. He's not a Hollywood star, but he is, a huge billionaire mogul who is taking us into space and into other worlds. And he is an entrepreneur who is a huge important factor in the future of America. So yes, he needs to watch his gestures. But no, in no way, shape, or form is Elon Musk in any way, shape, or form have any association or ever uttered a single word tantamount to him being aligned with the Nazi Party. So again, these are the things that just crack me up about the Trump derangement or Elon Musk derangement syndrome. Ridiculous. And also, mainstream media itself. So something like CNN, by the way, I think both CNN and Fox get it wrong because they are too polarizing. But yeah, CNN a little bit worse because their whole past, 10 years has been based on focusing on Trump derangement syndrome. The fact is, again, the proof's in the pudding. Go woke and go broke, whatever these phrases that come true. Fact is they are losing $400 million. They are losing people. They are losing staff. They are losing all credibility. They are losing viewership. And mainstream media as a whole, and again, I've said this before, it has lost its control over its dominion over information. And the fact is YouTube and podcasts and X. People now are more discerning on where they get information, and they're no longer locked in. And CNN, I'm sorry, this is what happens when you don't report the news, in an unbiased way. Okay? Again, I thought journalists had an integrity, and I always thought that about it. No matter what, journalism is about following the facts wherever they lead. Even if you want to put a spin on it, and I've talked about this before, an anchorman or woman, they're not necessarily the pure hard-nosed journalist with a hard hat out in the middle of a war reporting. They're just the face on the camera, and they do have to put a spin on it because there's an ad up next, and they've got to sell ads. But at least find somewhere in your soul that part of you that was a journalist that just wants to talk about the facts, unbiased facts. And and they couldn't. And this is what happens. This is the outcome of when you're so focused on selling something and so hateful towards someone for hate's sake. And I'm sorry, that man that you hated so much was elected president by the country, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is a touchy one. I'm going to get in trouble for this one, but I can't stop sort of skirting around this one. So another big one besides the border is Trump is getting stuck into what people believe are trans rights. And here's the thing, and I'm going to say this in the most honest way. This is a touchy subject in general, but this is the problem in general with where I believe we've gone too far in one direction with this. And I hope he approaches this correctly. It's like this. You can join the clubhouse, as I want everyone to. I think most people in the world are very much live and let live. I don't give a flying crap what you do as long as you're not hurting someone or inciting someone else to hurt someone else. If you're not hurting someone, killing someone, again, or encouraging someone to mistreat or hurt someone, I really don't care what you do with your life at all. Live your life, man. Live your life how you want. And that's a fact. And that's how I live my life. You are who you are. As much as we're all put into categories, whether it's men or women or human or white or black, although that one, you can't help your skin color. But beyond all that, beyond all the physical, no matter how much we try to put people in all these little new sections, there's only one you. There's only one you. There's only one me. And that's a fact. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's my point about you can join the club because we're all part of the same one. And what's that one called? The human race, folks. Okay? Let's just get real. We're all human, so let's just chill. And as far as individuality, when you want to cut down all the intersectionalism on every little layer, you're going to, no matter what, you're going to come down to one. And that is a beautiful thing. And that one is you. There's only one you. So where am I going with this? My point is I don't care what you do, but this is what you can't do when you join the club. And everyone has joined the club. Everyone has joined the club. The LGBTQA plus community, everyone's in the club. Welcome to life. Life sucks for anyone. Whether you're a heterosexual couple married or a gay couple married, welcome to life. Marriage sucks no matter what. It's a pain in the ass. Your husband's a pain in the ass. Your wife's a pain in the ass. 2 husbands are a pain in the ass. 2 wives are a pain in the ass. You know what I'm saying? You join the club. Welcome. Welcome to normal life. It sucks. The human condition is hilarious. You can join the club, but what you can't do is come into the club and change all the club privileges for everyone else. Do you understand what I'm saying? I will, as everyone will, we will accept everyone. We accept all of you as humans, as we should accept each other and embrace and help support each other. Of course we do. And every human has its own quirkiness, no matter what you are, on every level of weirdness, whether it is you like popcorn or you like soda or you like lemonade, whatever your sexuality is, whatever you like to dye your hair color, whatever layers and layers and layers. You play the trumpet, you play the piano, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer. You understand what I'm saying? There are a million things that make up a person. You do you, and that's a beautiful thing. Welcome to the club. But what you can't do is put up rules that confuse everyone else because you feel like you want to have some sort of control. And I'm sorry, that's what it is. And that is the one time I'm starting to draw the line. Don't start messing up the language. You can add to it, that's fine. You can add anything you want. You can identify as anything and add any sort of language and add any pronouns. You can add 1,000 pronouns. There's new pronouns every day. I don't care. But you can't take away the ones that were there. And that's the part that annoys the crap out of me. You can't change the clubhouse rules. You can't remove ladies and gentlemen. You can't remove men and women. You can add your own in, but you can't erase men or women. I'm sorry. And that's what I feel is happening a lot. And I think women sometimes, you need to recognize what's happening. Again, I'm all for trans rights as long as you join the club and you're in addition to, but you can't take away. You can't take away a woman's rights. You can't start to impede on a woman who is born a woman and identifies as a woman based on However she wants to identify that in a biological or scientific way, you can't take that away from her. That's her journey, or the man's journey. You can't say, "Oh no, that doesn't exist." You can't do that. There is no woman. You can't identify a woman. I can't. There's no language anymore. There's no science for it. There is. You leave that alone, and you can add your own in. I don't care what you add to the mix. Add a giant melting pot of pronouns. You can have chest feeders. You can have uterus holder. I don't care. But you can't take away the original people who were in the clubhouse by adding all these confusing rules. Because I'll tell you what that is, and you won't like this. When you try to destroy language, you try to confuse, and you try to control that language, because you say, "Oh, it's not based on science now. We have to circumvent it, and it's this and that." And especially when you do it to kids, and I'm sorry, when you come after kids, it's already confusing enough to be a kid and figure out this confusing planet. When you try to take over the language, that's a form of bullying, and I can't stand that. And you want to talk fascism, I'll land fascist right on that. When you start wanting to own the language and control the language, that is a form of taking power and taking over. And I don't think that's right to use new secretive language and to say the original language is inappropriate and wrong, or it triggers you. You know what? If you go far enough in this universe, you're going to trigger someone somehow, some way. Like I say, comedians, they got the hardest job these days because at some point you're going to offend someone. That's the point. That is literally the point. You are more than likely going to offend someone. So if this is about being triggered by language, I can't help you. Welcome to Earth. Welcome to the human condition. That's life. All I can do is say we can try our best to accommodate each other in all of our quirky humanness and allow each other to be in the club together as humans and add to the menagerie that is, like I say, the human condition. But you can't come in and change the rules and remove the ones previously, because that is you inserting your power and bullying someone else. And that's not fair. That's not how that works, folks. And here's an example, and I'm sorry, I have to get down to the nitty gritty. You can't identify a woman anymore. You can't identify. It's difficult. Science can no longer identify a woman. It's now a mystery. Somehow we had a handle on it in the last century, but now it's a mystery. Can't identify a woman because I can't identify a woman's gender by her DNA. I can't identify it by her appearance. I can't identify it by breasts or genitals. I can't identify it in any scientific manner. It's starting to get difficult. Okay, so where are we supposed to be able to draw all these intersections? So I've got one for you. I've got a new one. Let's go back to science, because again, it's funny how some people love the science when it supports them, but hate the science when it's going against what their narrative they're trying to put onto people. I'm going to go with genitals are out, DNA is out. God knows you can't dig up bones thousands of years later and by the DNA actually identify it as a woman. Whatever, throw that one out. I've got one for you: gamete size. Hey, we can't deny that, can we? I don't know. Can we deny that? Ouch, gamete size. All right. So even probably doctors who are on the fence wouldn't be able to defend that one. So I'll compare the size of your ova to the size of someone's sperm, and we'll go with that. And when you can identify the different size in the two, you can now figure out medically, because again, sometimes you need to know. I hate to tell you this, folks, but the doctor needs to know, because they need to treat you specifically for the actual molecules that are in your body. So let's go with gamete size. If that's how I have to be able to identify a man and a woman, I'm just starting with that. I'm not getting into anything else more extreme. I'm just going back to basics because it's too hard to identify men and women these days. I'm going to go with gamete size. All right, going to go with ovaries, ova, and sperm. The actual, the eggs and the sperm that we produce. If we can identify the different genders with that, hey, we've gotten somewhere. If we finally move forward by using science, that's great. And finally, we're all welcome back to the human race. I'm just saying, people don't like to talk facts. They just like to talk headlines and throw stuff out there. Again, you can add as many pronouns as you want. You can be a furry. God knows we live in a world where people identify as a dog. They go to class dressed as a cat, or a fox. That's great. That's great. You do you, like I say. But at some point, when we are trying to figure out, especially when it comes to a medical sense, on your health, and someone needs to actually just figure something out. If you have 5 fingers or 2 fingers or 1 leg or brown hair or blonde hair, we need to be able to identify you as a man or a woman or transgender. That's fine, but let's just find a way to find some common language and not use language as a bullying tactic. Okay, that's what upsets me. Don't use language as a bullying tactic. Language is something that can unite. I think it's a beautiful thing. I love languages. I always love different languages and learning them and learning like the basics, hello and goodbye and thank you of each language. I think that's fascinating. It brings people together, but it can also divide. Don't use the language to divide. Like I said, everyone is welcome. Human race, welcome to the clubhouse. Everyone is invited. And all of you are unique as an individual. But let's not, like I say, go in the clubhouse and start erasing everything that was on the board and throwing all the people who were there, who were, again, trying to just figure things out, trying to figure out their own human journey and existence. You can't throw them out. That's not joining the club. That's destroying the club. And you know what? If the club is the human race, I like that club. And I'd like to stay in it. And I'd like you to be in it with me. So anyway, look, that's my rant and that's my ending. And where did I start this? I started off saying Trump Derangement Syndrome. Well, like I say, these are a few of the hot topics that he's on. And these are the topics that people have been talking about. And like I say, they elected him to make decisions on these topics, to make presidential informed decisions, and also to surround himself with smart people. Again, mainstream media, they'll be, I'm panicked. He's got himself surrounded by conspiracy theorists and oligarchs. Again, I feel like the left, they do the, I know you are, but what am I sort of thing. Oligarchs, are you kidding me? We just got rid of the oligarchs. We got rid of the people who were using their power in every way, shape, or form to ensure there was only one narrative and there was only one discussion, their discussion, and that they used the money and the power specifically to do that. Like I say, Trump is only after one thing, to empower all of Americans to make their own money. He's not in it to make money. He's got money. That's the thing. When he says something like he wants to start drilling again, I don't want to get in too deep into that now. Look, I'm sorry that we still live in a world based on petroleum. I am a huge Star Trek nerd. I'm all for getting us to that solar future. I want us to get into fusion. I want that infinite power. I want to take a droplet of water and power a city. I want us to get there, and we should get there. But you can't force it. You can't just sprinkle an entire hillside with windmills and solar and just say, turn it on, and it just always works. We're not there yet. We're on the cusp of those technologies. Unfortunately, we still need some of those old technologies to get us across the line. And if he wants America to actually finally become independent in that and not so dependent on everyone else, and that helps the people who live there, and helps the taxes, it helps mom and dad be able to buy a house and buy a car, and it has a trickle-on effect by having, energy independence, then there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sorry that it's based on evil oil, and I'm sorry that they probably will and should start drilling for oil in Alaska and America if they have it, to be independent, to as any country should be focused on making itself strong. Australia or the UK, if you have those resources, Australia, don't get me started. You guys send all your minerals overseas. You're sending all your most precious resources because someone fronts up the cash. You need to play the long game, man. You need to think ahead. And so, yeah, Trump, if he's doing all these things, he's talking about energy independence, and he's talking about the border and making sure it's secure so that the people that are coming across, that we still want people to come to America and make it great. It's about making sure the right people are coming there. And by the right people, I mean not people who are criminals, okay? So everything he's doing, like I say, he's done so much even in just a week. He's on the right track. And I'm sorry, for all those with Trump Derangement Syndrome, I don't know. You're gonna have a long 4 years. You're gonna have a long 4 years, and you're gonna have to get over it. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Like I say, welcome to the human race. Welcome to the human experience. It's a bit of fun. And every day is a new adventure, as it should be. Like I say, I don't believe it's a finish line. Everyone's all about retiring to that goal line. Finally, I can live my life. It's not a finish line. Every day is your life. It's an experience. Life is an experience that you are having every moment, and we're all in it together. So let's all just get along, yeah? All right. More great music on Radio Motion on our 70s throwback show tonight after a word from our awesome sponsors.